for you, Jessica. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Yoshi. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for your time and welcome to the Impact Revolution channel. Before asking you to the business questions and more professional and lessons learned, we normally start with two kind of personal questions, if that's okay with you, SK.
Absolutely.
All right. So the first question will be, if you could wake up tomorrow, SK, anywhere in the world, where it will be?
Hong Kong.
Okay, why?
Well, my wife and I spent 1.5 years together in Hong Kong. We lived there, and we just moved out to Singapore about 7 months ago.
Okay.
My both of us are from Malaysia, and she spent 17 years in Hong Kong as a lawyer before the both of us moved out to Singapore. And to
Uh,
get to Hong Kong, I was very lucky to move from Malaysia to Singapore, to Dubai, to Shanghai, to Paris, to Oxford, and then to Hong Kong for a year and a half. So Hong Kong's special to me for several reasons. Firstly, that's where my wife and I started living together because we just got married very recently. So for romance and all the other reasons. And secondly,
nice.
because Hong Kong's a great place with so much culture and character and soul packed into a very small
Uh,
physical and geographical area. And yet you've got pretty tall mountains, beautiful beaches, great food, and just great human beings over there as well. Those are the reasons why we really enjoyed Hong Kong and why I would love to wake up in Hong Kong.
that's beautiful. Now I'm very excited to visit Hong Kong. I remember I only was in the airport on my way to Japan once, and I stayed 5 hours, and I think it was one of the best. Well, I think it was one of the most beautiful airports. The sightseeing of the mountains, as you described a bit. So that was amazing. I like it. All right, very good. Next question will be, if I ask you what was your happiest moment in your life, SK, what would you say, or what is the first memory comes to your mind?
Wow, that's a really difficult question.
It is.
Wow. The first thing that comes to my mind,
Yes.
I'm gonna go back to the answer of Hong Kong and doing very simple things with my wife, and I think that's a great answer to get us started,
Uh-huh.
because it's the small things. I appreciate the small things in life, to be able to walk down from our apartment to get food, to get a drink, to just go for a walk, go for a hike, and these are all small memories that make up a tapestry of very beautiful memories. So I'll say that. However, Yoshi, I'm also thinking about happiness because when you say happiness, right, I think happiness is really beautiful and important to everyone.
Hmm.
I'm also
Yes.
finding myself on a search for peace as opposed to happiness. I mean, happiness is great, a whole speech about why happiness is great. I think at this point in my life, I am also searching for a little bit more peace than I
Uh-huh.
am searching for a little bit more happiness. So, yeah, my answer to you is a cross between peace and happiness, but also going back to simple memories of life with my wife in Hong Kong.
All right, that's beautiful. I agree with this peaceful feeling. I'm also looking for balance more every day, and I think it's a good balance to have kind of exciting moments and also tranquility and peaceful moments, right?
Mm,
So that's
see,
good. Yeah. All right, great. Now, just to for the people here, and the audience to know you a bit better, and without to letting the modesty on side, someone who really admires you, SK, how will define who you are?
wow, Yoshi, that's a really good question. I've never been asked like this before. I think this person might describe me as firstly being very structured and systematic, that I'm
Okay.
organized and I've got my thoughts laid out in a way that is methodical. There's a methodology to the thinking, that I'm structured, systematic, and organized. I think will be the first thing that this person will say.
Okay.
I hope that this person who describes me will then say, number two, that I am kind, that I have a good heart, that I want to do the right thing, that I want to treat people correctly, that I do treat people correctly, that I try to be, well, kind and generous and friendly and a good human being to one another. Life is short and the world is very challenging, and I think it's good for us to be kind to each other. I hope that this person will say that I am kind. Thirdly and finally, I think that this person might say that I'm ambitious, that I am knowledgeable, that I'm clever, that I want to use the knowledge and perhaps some of the intelligence that I'm very, very blessed to have, Yoshi, to do the right things for the world, to do good things for the world. And I think my close friends might describe me that way. Hopefully, to say that firstly, I'm structured and organized, and secondly, to say that I'm kind, and thirdly, to say that I want to use my knowledge and skills to do the right thing and to be helpful to people. Thank you,
Oh,
Yoshi. Over to you.
oh, thank you so much. It's okay. That was beautiful. Now that goes to my next question, which I think will be related to what you had just described. What will you say is your why then?
Is my why
Your
right?
why? Why do you do what you do?
Well, let's talk about what do I want to do, and secondly, the why.
Okay,
So to answer the question of why, I would like to begin with the what. What
sure.
do I want to do? Two things that in life that I want to do. The first one is I want to help people. The second one is I want to self-actualize. I feel lucky because I grew up poor. My parents were only secondary school educated. My generation was the first generation to go to university, and all that makes me feel very grateful, very lucky, and therefore grateful, and therefore a sense of duty. The point I'm making is that all things being equal, because of the luck that I've had, I feel that I want to self-actualize and help people. The self-actualization part, right? I'm lucky to already meet Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Hmm.
Food, shelter, clothing, love, organization, structure, beauty. I've met all that. So I guess the last thing for me to reach the top of Maslow's hierarchy, and I'm so lucky to be in this position, Yoshi, is for me to self-actualize, to fulfill my potential, to meet my ambitions, and to learn, grow, develop, do things that are difficult. And those are the what I want to do: help people and self-actualize. Those are
Okay,
the two things of the what I want to do. Now, the why. Why do I want to help people and why do I want to self-actualize? A sense of duty and a sense of service. These are the two whys of what makes me motivated. And I'll add a third one shortly, okay? The third one is because I enjoy doing it. It makes me happy. So what do I want to do? Help people and self-actualize. It makes me happy, and that's needed because it makes me happy. It makes me fulfilled. It gives me satisfaction. But the other two reasons are because I feel a sense of duty and a sense of service. Why duty? I feel a sense of duty because I was lucky. Why was I lucky? Because even though I was born poor, my father loved my mother. My father did not beat my mother. My father stayed in the family. I had my father until I was older, and at the age of 25 when he passed away. My mother cooked well. My mother loved us. Also, all these small things in life, right, that made me
yeah.
feel very, very, very happy, even though we didn't have a lot of money when we were growing up. And that sense of luck gave me a sense of gratitude, gave me a sense of duty. And that sense of duty is my why. The second why is a sense of service. Why do I feel a sense of service? I observed my parents as I grew up. My father served his family, served the community, served his friends, and so did my mother. And because of, I guess, parental influence, right? You look at them and you think, yeah,
That's
okay,
beautiful.
yeah, it's a sense of duty. So what's my why? It's a sense of duty, a sense of service, and because doing all these things that I love doing makes me happy, makes me fulfill, and gives me meaning. Those are my whys, Yoshi.
All right, that's beautiful, SK. Thank you so much. They are very profound answers, and I'm really grateful that you are sharing that in some kindly way. So, yeah, thanks a lot. Now, how do you self-actualize? So, how are you looking for learning and developing yourself, SK?
Well, I guess at this point in my life, to self-actualize means for me to try to do two things. One, something that I've never done before, which is set up my own business. And my family doesn't really have a business background. It's not like everybody's a business builder in my family. And I set up my own business because for the second reason, which is I needed and we needed, my friends and I, my co-founders and I wanted and needed a vehicle for us to put our energy into the vehicle so that we can help other people, get the best out of ourselves, and also take care of ourselves and our families by making a reasonable amount of money in legal and ethical ways, but also in
Uh-huh.
classy and elegant ways. So those are reasons why we set up the company together. So it's been a fun journey for the last 1 year. And that's one big way in which I'm self-actualizing, which is do something new that I've never done before and use that new thing to as a vehicle to achieve my hopes and dreams, which is to self-actualize. So the actual way I'm self-actualizing right now is building a business, and it's scary. And whole speech about why it's scary, and it's fun, whole speech about why it's fun. And it's a whole speech about how it's a growing and learning experience as well, Yoshi, as you might know, and the
I
listeners
know,
to
yeah,
this episode will know as well.
that's right. I think everybody that hears this and knows, yeah, it will feel very related and connected with that you're saying. It's like a roller coaster.
Mm.
Once you are in the top, once you are in the down. Okay, and what was the second thing? I think you say two things that you do for self actualization thing.
Uh,
Yeah.
You're right. Thank you. So, how am I self-actualizing? That's your question. I apologize. So the first one is I'm building this the company. The
Uh-huh.
second one is I'm testing myself with things that I've not done before. And this will be include things like chairing commissions, chairing a commission of people who will write a report about pandemic preparedness, working at the global level to influence global health. And this is not usual, I would say, for an Asian person, and for somebody relatively young as well. And I'm in my early 40s. The point
Okay.
being that global health is generally seen as something that Europe and North America will do. It's a rich country thing. Low and middle income countries like Malaysia, where I'm from, generally don't send a lot of people into global health. So the second
Hmm.
way I'm self-actualizing right now is also to enter global health, to support international organizations, something like the World Health Organization, like the Asian Development Bank. And I'm very happy and grateful to support organizations like that as we do a bit of global health work. Those are the two ways in which I'm self-actualizing at the moment. Yoshi, over to you.
That's beautiful. Thank you, SK. So now, in this last point, I'm very curious. Like, how are you supporting, or what are your main lessons learned in terms of this global health issue that we are currently facing?
Hmm. There are several timeless issues when we talk about global health. So let me give some examples of issues surrounding global health, and then why do those issues take place, and what are my, shall we say, key findings, which is your question.
Okay.
Yoshi, issues in global health will be things like pandemic preparedness, like COVID. What did we do
Uh-huh.
during COVID? Did the world collaborate during COVID? Did we share our vaccines? Did we share our face masks and ventilators? Or did we put up borders? Did we make it difficult for vaccines to go to poor countries? And so on. So, pandemics are one global health threat. A second
Mm-hmm.
global health threat would be climate change, for example. And climate change is a problem that the whole world faces. So it's everybody's problem. But because it's everybody's problem, it may seem like it's nobody's problem. Because everybody needs to play a part in the solution, nobody wants to take a role in the solution. So a second problem would be something like climate change. And
Yes.
here's a third example of a problem surrounding global health, and that would be tobacco use. So around the world, large tobacco companies, British American Tobacco, Philip Morris, Marlboro, and so on, they have a lot of resources that they provide into lobbying in order to reduce the regulations surrounding tobacco. So what I mean to say is that tobacco, big sugar, foods that contain a lot of sugar, foods that contain a lot of fat, food
Mm,
that contains a lot of salt, um, can
chemical.
all
Yeah.
be considered, and chemicals can all be
Mm-hmm.
considered global health problems as well. So those are examples of global health problems. And your
All
question is,
right.
what are my observations or reflections? And I'll say that global health has a lot of science to it. People do PhDs in nutrition, in pandemics, in vaccines, anything. People do
Mm-hmm.
PhDs and spend 30 years of their lives just studying one particular subject in global health. And that's beautiful. The challenge, Yoshi, is that science is not enough to fix global health. We need good politics, meaning
Mm-hmm.
health is a political decision. Of course, that's science. Vaccines are important, and hospitals and doctors are all important. All that is true. And I'm trained as a doctor myself, and I practiced for 5 years, and I specialize in internal medicine. The point I'm making is that science alone cannot help us get better health. We need good politics. We need good political decisions. We need good economics. We need good economics decisions, and we need behavior change. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that to solve for global health, we need four things. We need science and technology and innovations and devices and medicines and vaccines. We need science. Number two, we need good politics. Number three, we need good economics that aligns everyone's incentives at the same time towards a good outcome. And fourthly, we need ways to change human behaviors. Because even if you have the best science, the best politics, the best economics, you will still need to change human behaviors. And those are the four, shall we say, key ingredients for us to solve nearly any issue in global health.
All right, very good. I love it. That was very detailed and very clear. Thank you so much. I'm a performance coach, okay? So I'm an expert in the mindset and the brain and how to change with the neuroscience, and actually apply these tools for us to be more effective, more productive, and more healthy. So I think that's linked with the last point that you say, behavioral change. All right, so there has to be a lot of neuroscientists, psychologists, behavioral scientists, and all that in that area. And I wanted to ask you because something that I was curious about the global health and something that worries me particularly a lot is the mental health. Okay, so I don't know if you are familiarized with these issues and what have been your findings or lessons learned so far.
Global health has got many disease-specific problems. Before we talk about mental health, Yoshi, I want to talk about diseases where there's a lot of focus on these diseases. Examples
Uh-huh.
would be diabetes, heart
Hmm.
disease, cancers, and maybe even HIV and AIDS. These are four examples of diseases that everybody looks at.
Yes.
Policymakers look at it, pharmaceutical companies look at it, doctors look at it, payers and insurance companies look at it because there's just so many people with these conditions, and that is needed. There are two conditions, right? They're not diseases, they're conditions that the world isn't ready for. The first one is mental health, the second one is aging. Governments around the world are talking a lot about mental health and aging, just that the infrastructure for mental health care and aging care is not there yet. There's still a lot of talking, not enough doing for mental health care as well as aging. So let me set that aside. That's a very big picture perspective on where mental health care is right now. I'll zoom into a bit of details. There are 2 points I would like to make over here about mental health care. The first one is science, the second one is non science. These are the 2 points that I'll make.
Okay.
Science is good in mental health care. We have lots of medicines that are very helpful for people with depression,
Hmm.
antidepressants that improve people's moods and make them feel better about themselves. And that's good. If you're
Okay.
anxious, you can take anti anxiety pills. If you have mood disorders, you can take mood stabilizers. These are wonderful creations of human beings to
Uh-huh.
help people with mental health conditions. Science is good. However, science can also be not so good. What I mean to say is, um, sometimes if you medicalize a mental health condition, it may be that everybody receives a medicine. And even if you're just temporarily not so well, then you may have social pressure or even expectation for you to receive medicines. All
Hmm.
this is to say that over time, we need more doctors, therapists, and psychologists so that
Hmm.
these doctors, therapists, and psychologists will be able to help and care for these people with the appropriate level of science. So science is very, very helpful. We need to appropriately deploy the science in mental health care. So that's on the science part. Now, on the
Uh-huh.
non-science part, is to say that let's just say somebody feels anxious all the time, and you prescribe a medicine to this person to reduce this person's anxiety, and science works and medicine works, and that's beautiful to see. However, the person's anxiety is not, shall we say, treated only by a medicine. You must
Yes.
also reduce several other things. For example, this person has got a low wage job, unable to meet the financial situation, unable to feed the person's family, unable to buy food and pay electricity bills, pay the rent, and so on. All that is because the person is poor, and that poverty is causing anxiety. If
The
you just give the
environment. Hmm.
pill to the person for anxiety, you're not solving the poverty, you're solving the anxiety. So therefore, to solve for mental health, we must create a society and a culture that is welcoming, inclusive, safe. Also, we stop things like poverty, discrimination, and injustice, and maybe even inequality. In other words, mental health care cannot only be obtained at the hospitals or the clinics. It must also
Uh-huh.
be a part of every government policy. And those are my thoughts and findings about mental health.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much, SK. I totally agree with you. I think this pharmacology industry is very big, and I don't think it's solving the issue of mental health. And sometimes it's just kind of a band-aid, temporary band-aid, rather than a long-term sustainable fix. So yeah, thank you so much. I agree with that. Now, in terms of business and startups, and now that you are doing your own business as well, what would you share to the Impact Revolution channel to redefine the business mindset? What are your main lessons learned so far, SK, regarding this journey?
A great question again, Yoshi. A short reflection will say that here's a list of very quick lessons that everybody will understand if you started a business. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of commitment and sacrifice. And I love that.
Uh-huh.
I love that about starting a business because if we're lucky to be successful in the future, it means that we're able to look back on a good set of work that we poured our heart and soul into the business. So I guess that's
Hmm.
one lesson. The second lesson is that we cannot do it all. Therefore, we need good partners. And I think this is
Hmm.
something that people are aware of as well. Not just build a good team for yourself, but also build a good set of partners, allies, alliances, people who can help you build the product, sell the product, market the product, and so on. And these are not within your company, these are outside of your company. I think alliances are very good. I think thirdly, a more personal reflection about the lessons that I've had so far um, is that I think I started a business at the right time. Meaning, I'm in my early 40s. I started my business just about a year ago. Before this, I was working for the government, working for non-profits, working for the private sector, but never started my own business. So I was just a corporate role.
Uh-huh.
And this is a good timing for me. So it's not too late, not too early. It's just the right timing for me. So I guess the last lesson is that everybody's got their own timings in life. Some
Hmm.
earlier, some later, and it's not good or bad, better or worse, just different.
Uh-huh.
And any time is a good time to start a business, and we should find the best timing that works for us, rather than look at other people and try not to compare. I guess those are my brief lessons, Yoshi, about starting my business so far.
Thank you, SK. This is very interesting about the right time. How did you know it was the right time for you, SK?
I guess you never really truly know, because even the word "no" implies that there is certainty, and nothing in this world is certain.
Uh-huh.
And today, I'm certain that certain enough that this is the right move, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, for me to continue carrying on. So your question is, how do I know that this is the right timing? In a combination of ways. Firstly, I thought deeply about this, assessed the possibilities, created a Excel spreadsheet, pro and con, the usual how you
Yeah.
compare between options. So I
Sure.
thought structurally, methodically, in an organized fashion about
Uh-huh.
what is the best choice. So I did that. But secondly, I also asked my heart, my gut feeling, my instincts, my intuition. These are things that
Uh-huh.
have no rationality to it, no logic. It's just your sense of it. Um, and my gut, my intuition, my instinct tells me that yeah, you're in a good space. You have a supportive wife, a supportive spouse, and you've got networks, credibility, experience, some capital that you can deploy. So yeah, this is a pretty good timing for you to get started. Those are the ways, Yoshi. I don't think there was a
Okay.
magic solution. One day I woke
Nah.
up yeah, but it was a pretty gradual process of maybe about a year or two thinking about it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I wanted to hear more about this feeling, because I think it's a gut feeling, right, and a heart thing, and something that is calling you, right? So I think I wanted to hear something like that, or if that was your experience as well. Now, many people, okay, have this feeling, or gut feeling, okay, and I love the word that you say in the first lesson, length, is the courage, okay. So how did you overcome this maybe fear of failure, insecurity, uncertainty of the unknown, and had the courage to get out of this comfort zone that it was your past life and to start your own business?
Perhaps I did that by two or three different ways. The first way is prepare for plan Bs. If this business doesn't work out, then you've got a financial safety net, and you've got a savings, passive income, things like that. That gives you a financial safety net that you can
Uh,
get a job somewhere else and so on. I think preparing a financial safety net is probably the first advice I'll provide to anybody thinking of starting their own business, so that at least you have some insurance if anything goes wrong.
Hmm.
Um, and some people might say that having a safety net is not a good idea, because then you won't try so hard knowing that you have a safety net. And if you have no safety net, you'll be more careful and so on. Yeah, okay, I get that too. But I think getting a safety net will be a good first step. The second way that I made myself more courageous, first way, get a safety net. The second way I made myself more courageous is risk mitigation, meaning build in protocols that you diversify your risk in the business. You try to find areas that are risky in the business, and you mitigate that. Perhaps purchase insurance, diversify a set of partners, build in risk management procedures, business continuity plans. These are all standard operating procedures, really, for risk mitigation in a particular business. I think that's the second thing that I did, just mitigate the risk. The third and
Uh-huh.
final way that I got myself to be courageous enough, right, is to actually not commit so much of my own capital into it. What I mean to say is that the more we started small, instead of raising 100 million US dollars just to do an MVP, we spent our own money, small amounts of money, do an MVP, and the more traction we had, the more money we invested, the more time we invested, the more of our soul that we invested into the company. And that was a way for us to gradually match the progress of the company, and got us to a position that after 1 year, we feel pretty confident about raising a seed round. And that's how we got courage. Basically, we boiled the frog. We slowly got there. Those are the three ways: my financial safety net, secondly, the standard risk mitigation, and thirdly, we gradually boiled the frog.
Okay, that's beautiful. Very good advice, and I think they are very good, helpful, practical. And I think it's very smart to have this kind of planning and backup plans, right? So that's beautiful. Okay, we have 3 minutes left, SK. So I just wanted to know, would you like to share anything that we may have not covered so far?
Maybe two quick thoughts and then turning back to you, Yoshi.
Sure,
I want
please.
to give a message to all of you who are listening, and you may be doing your own startup in a non-health industry, and that is fine. I wish you all the very best. For you
Uh-huh.
to consider that health should be in all policies. And here's my
Uh-huh.
little speech about how and why health should be in all policies, because the work that you do in fintech could be helpful in health. The work that you do in edutech could be helpful in health. The work that you do in agri-tech, drone tech, software as a service could all have applications into health as well. And one might argue that the two highest human objectives, or the reasons for our existence, our raison d'etre, would be health and education.
Uh-huh.
Health and education are probably the highest of human ideals, and we can think about ways that we can gear our lives and startups and companies and products that we build towards achieving health and education. My first thought. The second thought is, no matter what you do, science, technology, innovation alone cannot give us health. We still need good political choices, good economic choices, and good human behavior changes. And if
Uh-huh.
that's for all of us to consider, for us to be appropriately political when it comes to our health. Yoshi,
Uh-huh.
thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I love it. I think it is really important, this health and education, and I think they are very linked together because the more education you have, I think the more health or more likely to have health you have, and both I think influence each other. And this gives also the peace that we discussed before, the fulfillment, and all the set of things, right? Very good. I wanted to ask you a particular question because I see you are very experienced and profound human being already, SK. And I wanted to ask you if you were able to leave a last message to the world, like in a big board or something like that, what message will you leave to everybody?
Like, what you mean is that if I pass away, and what you mean
Yes,
is that if I,
yes,
mm,
like a
wow.
quote that you like, that you live for, some certain message, whatever.
Mm. The My favorite quote is, "The unexamined life is not worth living." This is from Socrates. So that's not the message I'm going to leave the world, though. Maybe I'll leave the world with one word: kindness.
Kindness, yeah. Definitely. I like that. Kindness. I really enjoyed this interview, SK. Thank you so much for your time. It was very beautiful. I don't know you have any other thing that leaving us this kindness message or anything. Yeah.
No, not really, Yoshi. Just a word of thanks to you because you were very kind to me, and I'm very grateful to speak with you as well. And I wish you and all your friends, your family, your listeners, all the very, very best of health and happiness. Thank you,
Thank
Yoshi.
you. Thank you so much, SK. Same to you. It was a big pleasure and thanks again for your kindness and your time and wish you all the same. Okay, so thanks a lot, SK. Keep in touch.